Welcome to the Shift into What's Next podcast, where embracing change can ignite a world of possibilities. Hey now, I'm your host Elise Ancel, and welcome back to a space where we just don't talk about the tough stuff. We face it, feel it, and grow from it. Today's episode is called When Giving Gets Heavy, because sometimes it's not about whether you have a good heart. It's about how much weight that heart is quietly carrying. We give, we extend grace, we make space, and somewhere in that process, it becomes hard to breathe. So today, we're unpacking what happens when giving becomes too heavy, when kindness turns into a burden, and grace starts to cost you more than it should. So let's get into it. You ever find yourself hoping that what people are telling you isn't true? That maybe you're overthinking it? That maybe they just don't see what you see? That was me. Even when people I trusted pointed out red flags, I kept hoping they were wrong. I wanted to believe I was doing the right thing by being patient, by giving grace. But that's the thing. When you ignore patterns long enough, they become your reality. They become a part of your norm. Of course, I didn't want to believe I was being taken advantage of, but deep down, I already knew. And eventually, the truth couldn't stay hidden anymore. There's a moment when everything shifts, not because the situation suddenly changed, but because you finally see it clearly. You realize the effort hasn't been mutual, the love hasn't been balanced, and the giving, it's mostly coming from you. And when someone gets comfortable taking without ever thinking about what it's costing you, that's when giving gets heavy. You start feeling it in your spirit. You second guess your generosity. You go quiet, not because you're distant, but because you're drained. That's not grace. That's survival. So now comes the turning point. You know, that part where you stop letting guilt keep you stuck. Because compassion without limits will eventually break you, and grace without boundaries will deplete you. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to say, this is no longer healthy for me. This is no longer serving me. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to explain it. You just need to honor it, because you were never created to be a constant outpour with no refill. And love that only flows one way isn't love, it's obligation. So, let's take a second to reflect. Where in your life does giving feel like pressure instead of purpose? Where have you been showing up out of habit, but not out of health? Think about how long you've been extending yourself, hoping the other side would match your energy, only to be met with silence, entitlement, or convenience. You can still be giving, loving, and kind, but you can also be wise, discerning, and unavailable for what drains you. So ask yourself, what have I been given that's no longer mine to give? And who am I when I finally stop proving my worth to people who've already shown they don't value it? It's not selfish to say I've done enough. It's sacred, actually. It's necessary. It's healing. So, as we wrap up, if this episode hit you somewhere deep today, know this. Your soft heart is a strength, but even softness needs structure. Even the most generous spirit needs rest. Even the strongest givers deserve to receive. You don't have to stop being you, but maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop giving to what no longer sees you. Until the next time, stay kind, stay rooted, and start making space for the version of you that no longer carries weight that was never yours to begin with. I'm Elise Ancel, and you've been listening to When Giving Gets Heavy. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and like, share, or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear how your shift is unfolding.